A warm and pleasant morning to one and all. I am Ruxana, along with my colleague Shalakha, PhD scholars from Carbon Lab, IIT Hyderabad, would like to welcome all the viewers in the third webinar of the series titled Electrochemical Sensors, Observing 10 Years of Success of a Carbon Lab. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our first eminent speaker, who's a pioneer in the field of electrochemical sensors and does not need an introduction. However, for the sake of formality, it's my leisure to read his short bio. Dr. Mahesh Kumar is an associate professor at IIT Jodhpur. He has received MTech degree in solid state materials from IIT Delhi and a PhD degree from Material Research Center IISc Bangalore. He worked at General Research Laboratory of Bharat Electronic Limited, Bangalore as a scientist from 2005 to 2013. He has received many precious awards such as INSA Medal for Young Scientist 2014, the MRSI Medal 2016, DAA Young Achiever Award 2016, ISSS Young Scientist Award 2017, and IIT Jodhpur Research Excellence Award 2020. He has published more than 100 research articles. Dr. Mahesh Kumar's research interests are focused in the areas of 2D materials, nanomaterials, sensors, semiconductor materials, and devices. Let us all welcome our first speaker, Dr. Mahesh Kumar, and I request Dr. Mahesh to give a brief about his work.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you see my slides?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would like to thank Professor Sharma for inviting me for this talk. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate all current and alumni member of Carbon Labs. They have done a wonderful contribution in last 10 years. I am fortunate to work with them, and I have observed two things. One, their time management is excellent. Another, they are open to collaborate and discuss with anyone this one. So these are the two special points that I have observed. Now I am going to talk about the 2D materials based electrochemical sensors, and mainly we have made the heavy metal ion sensors. And today I will talk on the mercury sensors, how we can this one detect by using these electrochemical sensors. Our research group is working on the electronic materials and devices, and today I am going to talk about this aluminum gallium nitride high electron mobility transistors, how we can use these transistors as a electrochemical sensors here. In last few decades, water quality has degraded due to the stuff thrown by the human, and this pollution starts from the surface water and it mixes with the groundwater and pollute the complete our water circulations. Broadly, we can divide this pollution in three categories. First one is the pathogenic organism, second one is the organic material, and third one is the heavy metal ions. And today I am going to talk about how to detect these heavy metal ions, because these are toxic in nature and we are using for the different applications. We are using in agriculture, mining, industrial, and these all heavy metal ions through the water sources, through the rain or some other sources, they are coming in our water reservoir and then basically destroying the complete water circulation here. So first thing, how to remove how to detect these heavy metal ions. Second, how to remove basically these heavy metal ions. So first, this one detection is very important. If you can make some real-time sensor, then we can detect now pollution level is increasing, and then how we can remove this one. Recently, we have seen in many electronic media in the different part of the countries here, for example, in the Yamuna, Chambal, in the West Bengal, there is a arsenic level is there, high arsenic level is there. So in the different basically regions, we have particular this one heavy metal ions here. So here, how to detect this one? Because many people, they are drinking without measurement. Also in the house, we have this one water purifiers, but we don't have the display this one. Okay, how much this our filter is working fine or not this one. So particularly we need some electronic sensor that can give the display here. Okay, this water is drinkable, this water is not drinkable, or whenever we are traveling, for example, on the railway station or airport here, how to, whatever this one water we are buying, that one is drinkable or not drinkable. So if you can develop some small, this one sensor, we can put one water drop and we can check immediately, okay, this water is the drinkable here. If you talk about the groundwater quality across the country here, so what we do generally, we measure the TDS, how much is the total dissolved solids are there. And if TDS is below the 480, we say this water is the good. Then if 480 to 960 is that, okay, water is the fair basically. And if you talk about this one here in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, here TDS level is very high. That means this water is not drinkable. Here we have to remove particularly these TDS here. But again, how we are measuring the TDS? We are measuring the conductivity of the water, and then this conductivity we are relating with the TDS. But there is no link between the TDS and heavy metals. This one, there is high possibility we have this one low TDS, but again there is the possibility these heavy metals ions are mixed in the water here. Again, we need few this one heavy metal ions in a certain quantity for our health. This one for our body. These are the required. And these are the copper, zinc, iron, and silver. These are the essential basically in a certain quantity. But other heavy metals, for example, nickel, arsenic, chromium, lead, cadmium, and mercury, these are highly toxic. So here you can see the limit. For example, for mercury, this one is around 1 ppb is there. Cadmium around 3 ppb is there. And for lead, 5 ppb is there. These are the WHO defined limit is there. So in the drinkable water, these heavy metal ions should be less than this WHO defined limit here. So how to measure this one? Whatever water we are drinking, is that one is drinkable or not here? Because we are not measuring this one, how much quantity of these heavy metal ions we have here. For example, in the West Bengal, in many parts, there are the arsenic level is very high. In Rajasthan, we have the this one phosphate here in high concentration. But how to measure this one? Mainly these villagers and many, they are drinking. Basically, they don't have any real-time monitoring system here. So how to develop these sensors here? So whenever we are making some sensor, we have to see basically what we want. So one thing is that sensitivity, how much sensitivity should be there. Another one is that transfer function is there. Between input, this one, whatever quantity, this one, we are measuring this one, and output, whatever electrical quantity we are getting this one. So how is the transfer function is there. Another one is the selectivity, fast response. Again, our sensor should be compact. And one most important thing is the cost. How much cost is there? Otherwise, we can measure by the ICP or by other, this one mass spectrometer, but their cost is very high and we cannot afford everywhere here. So we are looking for the low cost sensors here. For example, if cost is 200 or 500 rupees here, we can connect with our water purifier or wherever we are using this one. In the lake we can mount and then we can monitor, okay, how much level of these TDS and heavy metal ions are there here. If you see in the literature, researchers, they have used the many methods here. One is the electrochemical is there. Another one is the biochemical. Colorimetry is there. Here we can mix some chemicals and then we can see the color here. And another fourth one is also, this one is the electrochemical, but this one is the modified, basically transistor-based electrochemical sensor is there. So today I'm going to talk about briefly about this one electrochemical by using the 3 electrodes, and then I will come on the transistor-based electrochemical sensors here, how these sensors are working, basically what is the working phenomena, and then how we have made the sensors here. So here at IIT Jodhpur, we are working on this one complete system, this one similar to the glucometer. Here, for example, in the glucometer, we are putting one blood drop and then we are measuring how much sugar level is there. So similarly, if you can develop some system here, and now if you put one water drop and we can get the data, or we can attach our water purifier with this one and we can get the real-time data here, how much level of these heavy metal ions are available in the water here. So what we have done for the mercury, we have used the 2D, this one 2D materials. So what is the 2D material and how these are working here? So this one is the general concept. Suppose if you reduce the dimension, what will happen? Mobility is less. So confinement makes mobility low here. That's why we are generally, for example, criminals, and we are putting in the small area, so their mobility is less here. But electronic concept is totally different, totally opposite here. In electronic materials, when we reduce the dimension, confinement makes mobility high, and best example is the graphene. If you are using the bulk here, mobility is less, but when we are reducing here, when we are using single monolayer here, in that case mobility is extremely high, and mobility decide your device speed here. So if we have the high mobility, what will happen? Our sensor speed will be high. That one is the important, because in how much time we are getting the data, and if you want to make the real time monitoring system, we need immediately data from the water here. So one advantage of this 2D material is that here we can make the high speed sensors. So here you can see how we can make the high speed. Suppose we are using the bulk. In that case here, because lot of scattering is taking place, we have not defined the path. So overall here mobility is less. But if we have defined the path, in this case, because both side barrier is high, now here electron can move only in one direction. So because of this one, we have the less scattering, different basically transport mechanism is there here. So because of this one, here mobility is high here. So one thing, if you are using the 2D materials here, mobility is high. So overall our sensor speed will be high. Second one is that if we are using, for example, bulk material, now if some ion is coming, now the ion impact is only on the top surface, not at the bottom, basically carriers. So carriers can move from the bottom. So overall this control is there, or you can say the impact is there because of this ion. This one is only on the top surface, not at the this one bottom layers here. So whatever quantity we are measuring, this one overall this one change will be less. And for high sensitivity, we want whenever some ion is there, we want the high impact, or you can say the high response here. So in the bulk material, this one is less. But if we take only one layer, what is the 2D materials? We have only this one, few layers, or you can say the single layer is there. And now if this here, if this ion is coming in contact with these atoms here, now the impact will be high. So because we are measuring the electrical quantity, for example, the resistance or conductivity we are measuring here. So overall the impact will be high here. So if we are using 2D materials here, overall the impact here, or you can say that selectivity, we expect that will be high here. So what we have done this one, we have made this one mercury sensors, because mercury is highly this one toxic in nature, and this mercury level should be the less than 1 ppb here. So how we have made this one, and again on the human this one making the many impact, basically disease on the nerve system and different part of the body here. So it is this one essential to detect basically how much level of mercury is present in the water here. So one here traditional, basically we can use the voltammetry method, and then we can measure. So what we have in the voltammetry method, we have reference electrode, we have working electrode, and we have this one is the counter electrode is there. So between working electrode and reference electrode, we are applying the voltage here, and then we are measuring the current between this one working electrode and counter electrode. So here in the cyclic voltaic, we are increasing linearly, and then again we are decreasing here, and then we are measuring basically between electrode and this electrolyte, how this chemical reaction is taking place here. So at a particular basically one voltage here, what we are getting, some electron transfer is taking place between electrode and electrolyte here, and then we get the sudden change in the current here. For example, mercury ions are available, then at one particular voltage we will get this one electron transfer between electrolyte and electrode here. So how we can use this one, our 2D materials, we can use on the working electrode here, because this reaction is happening between working electrode and electrolyte. Here we can use basically here we can use these nanomaterials or 2D materials, and then we can make this one for a particular ion here, or ion selective we can make this one. So what we have done here for this work, we have used the square wave. So square wave, this one voltammetry is the combination of linear voltage here. So voltage is increasing linear, also the square wave is there. And the advantage of this one is that we can detect the here lower this one range we can detect by using basically square wave voltammetry. And in this here square wave, the current is there. This one is directly proportional to the concentration of metal ions here. And here you can see this one, how this one is working. So at a particular voltage, what is happening? This electron transfer is taking place here. Depending on the voltage, how we are applying in the positive direction, or we are decreasing this one. So in one direction, basically here oxidation will take place, another this one reduction will take place. And now at a particular voltage here, what we will get this current here. And this current at this particular voltage, this charge transport is taking place here, exchange is taking place. And here the current, this one amount of current is decided by these heavy metal ions here, how much heavy metal ions are available in this one inside the water here. So what we have done, we have modified this working electrode. So to modify this one, we have used the graphene oxide, and this graphene oxide we have synthesized by the standard Hempel method is there. And because graphene oxide here conductivity is less, so we have mixed with the silver this one nanowires. And here what is happening between this one COOH group is there, carboxylic group is there. Here this mercury ion is trapped at a particular voltage, and when these ions are adsorbed here, now the charge transfer is taking place at a particular voltage, and we get this one for mercury, for example, this one is the voltage, so we will get this current. We can measure here at a particular voltage how this current is changing, and this current basically is proportional to the this available ion of mercury here. And here nanowire here, silver nanowires, we are using this one. So this charge transfer is there between electrode and electrolyte. We want from graphene oxide to electrode. Here charge transport should be faster, so we can use these metal electrodes here. So then what we have done here, you can see here these electron microscopy images. We have used this one silver nanowires, and we have used the graphene oxide. We have characterized by Raman spectrometer and electron microscopy, and the ratio we have this one where we got the maximum response. That one is the 50% of silver nanoparticle and 50% of graphene oxide here. And then we have used the different concentration of mercury ions, and we found this one. We can measure this one here 1 nanomolar, and WHO defined limit is there. This one is around 5. This one our level, this one drinking this mercury level in the drinking water should be less than the 5 nanomolar is there. And sensitivity is also very good, around 0.29 here microampere per this one nanomolar is there here. And here you can see how this one transfer function is there. So between the concentration and current, what relation is there? This relation is called the transfer function. So linear transfer function is there. And when in a sensor, basically, we have the linear transfer function, because when we calibrate, we need the maximum parameters, because when we are fabricating the sensor here, before using the practical application, we have to do the calibration. And if calibration here transfer function is the linear, just we have to calculate the slope, how much slope is there and how much is the initial value is there here. From that, we can this one calibrate easily by using the two standard known value, and then we can calibrate our sensor. Next, what we have done this one, because when we are making the sensor, we have to check this one. One is the repeatability, another one is the selectivity here. So we found this one because other here few heavy metal, for example, silver, copper. These are essential for this one, our body here. So how much this one selectivity is there? We have taken this one around 50 nanomolar, and then we have tested and we found this one is the basically highly selective here. This silver nanoparticle and graphene oxide, this nano composite is highly selective towards the mercury ions here. Then again, we have done the cross selectivity, and here relative standard deviation is there. This one is also very low, around 3% is there. So if you are using the different sample here, how much in the current basically variation is there, we can calculate this RSD, and this should be the low here. So basically this silver nanoparticle and graphene oxide nanocomposite is basically sensing only mercury ions, but this one has the one limitation. What is this limitation? We cannot do the real-time monitoring because we need the electrolyte here. We need the these electrodes here, one reference electrode and counter electrode here. So at the lab level here, we can do the measurement. We can collect the sample here from the different region, and then we can do the measurement. But suppose we want to do the real-time monitoring in your water purifier. When we are switching our water purifier, immediately we need the data. So when we need the data, in that case, we have to use some other method. And what we have done, we have used these transistor-based electrochemical sensors here. So how these are working basically here, what is this one working principle is that first we will discuss this one, and then how we have made this here. So what we have used for this mercury ion, we have used the MOS2 here. Again, another 2D material is there. And we have used aluminum gallium nitride high electron mobility transistor here. So what we have to do here, we have to make that transistor, and in the transistor we have the source, drain, and gate. And gate we can functionalize here. So whatever this one heavy metal ion we want to measure, this one we have to use the different here functionalizing layer here, and then here we can measure the targeted ion. So what we have done here, we have measured first mercury. So mercury we have used these 2D materials, and then here you can see this one here we have measured how this current is changing basically with heavy metal ions here. So we have this one known quantity of mercury we have mixed in the water, and then we have done the measurements here. Again, the advantage of here 2D material already, this one we have discussed this one. What is the advantage of high electron mobility transistor is there? So in the field effect transistor, we have source, drain, and in between here channel is forming depending on the here how much voltage we are applying. So whenever this voltage is above the threshold here, one channel is forming. And in the 2D materials, basically here one 2D electron gas is forming in some particular basically materials in the heterojunction here. So between the aluminum gallium nitride and gallium nitride, this one free electron gas is forming. We can use the advantage of this free electron gas and can make these transistors. So here you can see the energy diagram. This one is the conduction band is there, conduction band of gallium nitride, conduction band of aluminum gallium nitride. And when we are joining both this one here, because of the polarization, what is happening? We are getting this band structure. And in this band structure, because at room temperature, we have some these electrons in the conduction band. And now here, in the conduction band, these electrons will trap in at the heterojunction. So we have gallium nitride, we have aluminum gallium nitride, and here we have the basically valley at this junction. So this one, because of this here polarization, or you can say because of this electric field, now these carriers will trap here at the heterojunction. So in this material at the junction, basically we have free electron gas, basically 2D free electron gas. So here in the third direction, we can take the contact and we can make these high electron mobility transistors here. So gallium nitride is having the spontaneous polarization, aluminum gallium nitride is having the spontaneous polarization. When we are joining both this one, because of this spontaneous polarization and piezoelectric, this polarization, we get this one, these electrons are trapped at the heterojunction. And if you see the Venn diagram, here you can see this red color is the free electron gas is there. These electrons cannot move in the gallium nitride, also cannot move in the aluminum gallium nitride. But at the junction, if we can take the contact, they can freely move in the third direction. So we have taken basically the advantage of this 2D electron gas, and first we have fabricated high electron mobility transistor, and then these high electron mobility transistor we have used for these heavy metal ion sensing. So to grow this one, we have to grow the many layers, because gallium nitride here substrates are not available, because gallium nitride decompose before it melt here. So what we have to do, we have to grow on the orange substrate, and these samples are grown by the MOCVD, and we have this one. These samples are grown on the 8-inch wafer. So at IIT Jodhpur, we don't have the MOCVD or MB, because this nitride material, we need only these two technique here. So we got these wafers from our collaborator from IMRI A-Star Singapore. They have grown, basically they are using for the this high power electronics, and here we have used same devices, this one for heavy metal ion sensors. So you can see on the wafer, when we are growing the large wafer, we have to see our properties are uniform or not here, and here you can see the different layers. So around mobility at the heterojunction, because in gallium nitride mobility is low, in aluminum gallium nitride mobility is low here, but at the heterojunction mobility is high, around 1700 this one centimeter square per volt per second is there. Then what we have done here, we at IIT Jodhpur, we have deposited the contact here. So we have deposited aluminum, chromium, and this one gold, because source and drain contact, we need the minimum this one contact resistance here. So directly if you are depositing the gold here, if you see here one more thing, because this 2D electron gas is forming here. Now how to take the contact? So what we have to do, because on the aluminum gallium nitride, we can deposit the aluminum, and if you do the thermal, this one RTA, rapid thermal annealing, this aluminum will diffuse and give the contact from the 2D electron gas. So we have used the aluminum, chromium, and gold, and then by the lithography, we have opened this window, and by RF sputtering, we have deposited, we have isolated basically source and drain. Otherwise, when we dip in the water, the source and drain can sort here. And then at the gate, we have deposited this one Schottky contact nickel gold. So this one is the final, our device structure is there here. It's source and drain, here is the gate. And if you see the optical image, this one is the fabricated device image is there. So we have source, we have drain, and another here we have the gate here. So now here this one is the high electron mobility transistor is there. But how to use this transistor as a sensor here? So what we have done, this one next here, if you want to make for the mercury here, we have to functionalize this gold. Otherwise gold will not sense basically our target heavy metal ions here. So what we have done, we have used this one for mercury ion, we have used the 2D materials. And if we buy, for example, MOS2 from the Sigma Aldrich here, 100 gram cost is 500 rupees here. But if you buy 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square MOS2 one monolayer, then cost is 50,000. And if we separate this one 100 gram of MOS2 here, if we separate all layers from 100 gram, basically monolayers here, the cost will be around 1 million rupees. So only here, how to reach from this one 5,000 rupees to 1 million, just we have to separate out these layers. That means here, this separating these layers or growing these monolayers, these are not so easy here. Otherwise, easily basically any manufacturer or they can separate out this one. So this one is very difficult here. At IIT Jodhpur, we are growing by the chemical vapor deposition, we are growing by the sputtering here, but these techniques we are growing at the high temperature. Now we have already fabricated the source and drain here. So particularly we cannot heat above 300 degree centigrade. So we have to look for the low, this one growth technique. We have used the hydrothermal technique. We have used MOO3, NaOH and thiourea, these precursor, and this one is the standard method is there. And finally we got this one black powder here. So this black powder we have characterized and we found this one. Now MOO3 is converted into in MOS2 by we have confirmed by X-ray diffraction and by using the Raman spectroscopy. Second, again we have done the electron microscopy, and you know in the sensors when we are sensing we need the large surface area. So you can see these flakes basically because we have this one large surface area. These layers, mono layers, these are making the flowers. Another target is there. Individually we have fabricated hemmed, and also we have synthesized MOS2. Next we have transferred this MOS2 on the gate here. So by ultrasonic in the IPA we have dissolved, and then here by the drop cast method we have functionalized this gate. Here you can see few more images here. So we have used around 20 milligram per ml of IPA. Sorry, and then here gate we have functionalized. So you can see this one gate we have functionalized here. This one is the MOS2. Here flakes are there. Again we have characterized after transferring this one. Here you can see the nice flakes here on the gate, and then we have done the measurement. So what we have done, we have applied some this one constant voltage 0.5 volt, very low voltage, and then we have measured with this different concentration how this current between source and drain, this one is changing. So here WHO defined limit is 1 ppb, but our sensor is able to detect even ppt level here. So and another advantage here, we can do the real time monitoring here. So whenever we are changing the concentration, you can see with time when we are changing the concentration here, current is changing here. So now here we directly this one online we can measure here particularly how much concentration is there here. So this one is the bare device here after functionalizing. This one is after basically when we are adding here mercury in this water here. Another advantage of this is that no need to prepare the electrolyte, just in the water we have to dip here, and now how much concentration is there here we can relate with our current. Here is the mechanism. Here this sulfur atom is absorbing with the mercury ions, and here is making this HGS complex. And now here, because these ions are coming on the gate, when these ions are coming, the 2d electron gas is there, this concentration is changing here. So on the top, when we are applying the bias here, what is happening? This concentration is changing, and because of this concentration, we get the change in the this drain current. Another, as I said, the important parameter is there. This one is the selectivity. How much selectivity is there? So we have done in zinc, nickel, in other heavy metals here. Also, we have mixed all, and we found this one. This one is the highly selective. If you see the sensitivity is also this one good, around 0.64 microampere per ppb. Linear detection range is there. That means our transfer function is linear from 0.1 ppb to 100 ppb is there. So in this range here, easily we can measure here. So here transfer function is linear here. So we can relate basically this current here, how much change is there in the current with the concentration, and we can calculate this here. Another, this one, how much amount we have to load on the gate, that also we have optimized. We have taken the 10 mg per milliliter, around 20 and 40, and we found the sensitivity is increasing, and limit of detection is initially this one is decreased, then again started this one increasing. So the optimized is around 20 milligram per milliliter. We have to use this one. Another here, because to improve the feather sensitivity, we have used, because in the water purifier we are using the UV light here to kill the bacteria. So we thought, can we put this one, our sensor, in the front of this UV lamp, and we'll see the effect on the sensitivity. So what we have done, we have used this one UV lamp, and then under this one here is our sensor is there, and then we have measured this one. So we found this one, our sensitivity increased around 600 times as compared to this one without UV. So we can improve the sensitivity by 600 times here just by putting this sensor in the front of the UV lamp. And again, this one selectivity, sensitivity has improved this one. So easily we can measure if there is a more change in the current. So current now is in the milliampere is there. And here, because in the previous case, if you see around 0.6 is there, here is around 548 microampere per ppb is there. Again, here to further to improve this sensitivity here, because MOS to this here, how to transfer basically these ions basically charge from MOS to our on the electrode here. What we have done, we have used these silver nanoparticles, and by using the silver nanowires, basically here we have functionalized with the composition, and this ratio optimized is 1:4 ratio we have taken here. And then what we have done, again we have done the measurement, and we found here sensitivity again around this one. We can improve from micro to we can come in the milliamperes just by using this nano composite. Here you can see the selectivity is also very good. This one is sensing only the mercury, not the other ions here. So we can improve this one sensitivity here. So we have made basically this mercury sensor that we can sense here. We can sense basically very low, extremely low concentration of mercury ions in the drinkable water here. So I will not take much time. Similarly, we have made for others also. We have made for the cadmium. For cadmium here, same principle is that when here these ions are coming on the gate here, what is happening? This 2d electron gas is there. Here, this density is changing. And when density here is changing, our current will change, source drain current will change. For more detail, you can refer this paper here. So the mechanism is same, just how to basically we have to trap these cadmium ion. So for that we have used this one MPa GSG, and GSG is basically here absorbing the cadmium ion, but GSG is not making the bond with the this one with gold here. So we have used the MPa first, and then we have used the this one GSH, and then made the basically these cadmium sensors. So again, the working principle is same here. Another, as I said, the important parameter is that how much time this sensor is taking to detect the targeted ions here. So our sensor can give this one result within 3 seconds. So this one is the faster as compared to the other sensor. So within 3 seconds, this 1 second, we can get the real-time data, how much concentration of these ions are available here. So these are the same sensitivity, how much is there, again the limit of detection, selectivity here. So in this case here, what happened, we got some response from the mercury also, because gold is also here, gold gate is also this one absorbing the mercury, because sensing the mercury here. So we have covered with this material, but not fully covered. But here what we are doing, we are this one fabricating all these heavy metal ion sensor on a single chip, and then from the data analysis we can subtract this one, because already we have the mercury sensor that will give only mercury. Now how much contribution is because of the mercury we can detect, and then we can get the cadmium here. Similarly here we have made also for the lead, because now the lead we are using in the chemical industry, and they are throwing these industries the water in the rivers, or basically in our water sources. So here how to detect basically how much lead is there, we have used for that this TMTT material. We have functionalized by TMTT, and then we have done the same measurements here sensitivity, how much limit of detection is there. And for more detail, you can refer these papers. Selectivity is very good. This one only we got some response from the mercury because of the gold. Again, how much repeatability is there? Can we use for this one multiple times? Yes, these sensors we can use for the multiple times here. So when we are using this one different concentration, our current change is there. This one is depending on the concentration just by the simple DI water, or we can when we wash this one, these ions will come out here, and then again we can use the sensor here. So here we have done the repeatability, reproducibility, all these tests, and we can use basically for these heavy metal ions here. So far we have fabricated for mercury, cadmium, and lead. Now we are trying also arsenic and this one other sensors. And the idea is there to fabricate all these sensors on a single chip, and then we can connect with this microcontroller. We can connect with basically mobile, and we can do the real-time monitoring here, or we can make some system similar to the glucometer, where we can put one water drop and we can detect how much these heavy metal ions are available. So with this one, I would like to summarize. Already I have taken more time. So we have fabricated these electrochemical sensors by using the silver nanoparticle and graphene oxide. Also, we have made one new electrochemical sensor that is based on the transistor here, based on the aluminum gallium nitride high electron mobility transistor. And by functionalizing this gate here, we can sense the different type of these heavy metal ions here. So with this one here, I would like to acknowledge my PhD student. This work is done by the Adarsh Nigam. Now Nipun is there. He is continuing this silver nanoparticle and MOS2 work. And these wafers were grown at this one A-Star IMRI here. So I would like to acknowledge Sudhir Ranjan Tripathi. They have grown for us. And from funding agency SERB. And this one is our beautiful campus. Whenever you get the chance, please visit to IIT Jodhpur. And again, I would like to thanks this one Carbon Lab for inviting me, and I wish many more success to them. Thank you.